Jeremy Fragrance's mental and physical deterioration continues to shock his worried fans. But when did Jeremy's cycle of self-torture begin? How did he go from a model, CEO, and famous YouTuber to just an internet meme known for blurting out random and incomprehensible sentences? Our story starts with the birth of Daniel Straczynski, aka Jeremy Fragrance, on February 5th, 1989. Daniel had a rough childhood growing up in a small German town. At school, he often got into fights with bullies, and at home, his father would often beat him and his older brother. After Daniel's parents became concerned with the amount of fights he was involved in, Daniel was enrolled in a fighting academy. This is where he became passionate about physical fitness and developed the hobby of dancing. In fact, his first rise on YouTube wasn't actually through fragrance videos, instead it was through dance. His channel helped him get a pretty large fan base, which eventually got him scouted and recruited by a boy band named Part 6. That's right, the man who is known either for helpful fragrance reviews or for having an intimate appreciation for Nutella used to be in a boy band. In fact, Daniel joined the boy band in 2008 under the name Jeremy Williams, as it was thought to be more memorable to an international audience than Daniel Straczynski, which eventually became the origin of the name Jeremy Fragrance. Although the band didn't reach any significant levels of success, this was still a huge step up at Jeremy's media exposure. The members of Part 6 lived together in a band house in Wachsberg, and they would tour all over Germany and Austria. Jeremy, being young, fit, and handsome, quickly developed the reputation of being a ladies' man.
Jungen Mann, dem mich wirklich bestimmt viele Mädchen jetzt beneiden werden.
He received attention from young women across the country, and his whole branding became that of a lustful pop star. However, that was a version of Jeremy's life that his fans and interviewers saw. Behind the scenes, it was far from the golden life you would expect from a rising boy band star. What was kept silent by Jeremy at the time was that he was being continuously forced to perform homosexual activities against his will.
Actually, I do like the gay community, but it was a bit of a tragedy and I did things that I did not like. Fast forward, I got bankrupt, people tried to do that with me, tried to do that. Bad stuff happened, but no life and death situation.
In fact, he even mentioned being forced into a gay relationship, which didn't last long as Jeremy left the band in 2010, presumably for the horrible things that were happening to him. After leaving the band, Jeremy decided he wanted to pursue a solo career in music, and so he went on to produce the song All of Me and worked on the track Ibiza Forever. However, this didn't really go far as both his tracks only had a combined count of 750,000 views. So, Jeremy decided to walk away from the music industry as a whole and try to make ends meet through modeling. But by 2012, Jeremy was completely broke and declared bankruptcy. This must have been one of the lowest times in Jeremy's life, but unfortunately for him, it was about to get a whole lot more complicated. One day, Jeremy received a letter from the German police explaining that a rape case had been filed against him by his ex-girlfriend. Jeremy's explanation for the accusation was that his ex-girlfriend falsely accused him of rape after Jeremy broke up with her, as his rising star status at the time gave him plenty of different options to choose from, and at a young age he didn't want to settle down with anybody.
You know, she was very much in love with me and she says, I love you, I love you, I love you. She says again, I love you, and I'm like, I'm the cool guy, I don't care, just another girl. And then she writes after 6 months, well, you know what, I will sue you for rape.
Jeremy was able to beat the case and walk away with the verdict of being innocent. However, this would still come back to prove as a big obstacle once Jeremy started to develop serious levels of fame. At Jeremy's lowest point, or should I say his first lowest point, a blessing came in the form of fragrances. At first, he made fragrance reviews on YouTube as just a passion, as he was interested in different self-improvement methods. As his following grew, he learned that he was able to earn income through affiliate links through websites like Amazon. After he discovered there was a decent amount of money involved, he went all in, producing multiple videos a day, and the results were clear to see. His first video was posted June 2nd, 2014, and within 3 months he had gained over 60,000 subscribers. People simply enjoyed watching someone as energetic and passionate as Jeremy was. His first video to blow up was in 2018, titled 10 Most Complimented Best Men's Fragrances of All Time, which now has over 5 million views. This video became a key turning point in Jeremy Fragrance's content style. It showed that there was a large demand for fragrance content that was focused more on the reception of the scent from other people, particularly women. His niche became interviewing women outside of bars, nightclubs, and practically anywhere, and asking them to review his scent. Through continually uploading street interviews and having attractive women be guests on his videos, he was able to climb up to 1 million subscribers in the year 2020, which cemented his status as the highest subscribed channel in the fragrance industry. But Jeremy's career was taken to the next level when he started working with his brother Kamil Straczynski. At the time, Kamil was a self-described beach bum living out in Hawaii, although he had extensive experience with several different startups. Kamil's management skills combined with Jeremy's influence and fragrance knowledge proved to be an excellent partnership for the startup of their own fragrance company, Fragrance One. Jeremy's influence itself was clearly an incredibly useful asset for the company, as within 22 days of their Kickstarter campaign, they had earned 462,000 euros, and by the time the company was launched, they had received over 750,000 euros in funding. But despite the company having such a great start and such a clearly prospective future, the way Jeremy handled his side of the business can only be described as disrespectful and illogical. For example, shortly after opening the Kickstarter campaign that was designed to provide funding for their startup, Jeremy bought a brand new red Ferrari, which to me is like a mayor requesting funding to build a new hospital, just for him to take that money and spend it on a BBL for his wife. Jeremy's reasoning was that the Ferrari was a long-time dream of his and he felt like he just had to get it. But I'm sure when that mayor was grinding out studying 50 hours a week in university for his political exam, the only thing getting him through that was the thought of a big booty Latino wife. But that still doesn't really give him the pass to spend that funding on anything else other than what the funders thought it was going to. But what was arguably far worse of a thing to do was how Jeremy treated his brother Kamil within the company. Despite being the far more logical and experienced member of the Straczynski family, Kamil's input was continually disregarded by Jeremy. For example, Jeremy put an exorbitant price on his fragrance, despite publicly claiming that it only took $10 to $15 to produce the average fragrance bottle.
So about $6 in total and you have a finished fragrance. But as you know, a Picasso painting...
This wasn't received well by the fragrance community, who were disappointed in Jeremy for seemingly selling out. It's needless to say, Jeremy was receiving a storm of hate for how he seemingly let down all of his fans. This, combined with the continuous hate he received for his now popularized rape accusation, created the most rapid and unhinged fall from sanity that I think any creator could go through. And just like most people's mental deterioration, it started with an app called TikTok. When Jeremy created his TikTok account in October 2019, his content was pretty similar to that of his YouTube channels. He would post dancing and occasionally fragrance review videos. But over time, his TikToks gradually turned into increasingly obscure and shocking content.
I took dog shit and mixed it with the dates here. But
some of Jeremy's TikTok highlights are videos of him claiming how not wearing underwear is good for business, smell checking literal sheep, and whatever this is. Videos like this is why people call him the real-life Homelander, which honestly the similarities between these two guys is insane. They look identical, they both are raw milk enjoyers, and they both shoot lasers out of their eyes. Regardless, the problem with his activity on TikTok was unlike YouTube, the TikTok algorithm actually promoted random and sensationalized content. So the more Jeremy lost his grip on reality and stepped out of line, the more his following grew. I think these two quotes from the Straczynski brothers sums it up perfectly.
With TikTok, I think it's quite obvious that you've seen that there's a lot of people, not just Jeremy, that get tons of eyeballs on TikTok for sensational content. And that content is not necessarily informational. In fact, it's quite difficult to get a lot of views and a lot of engagement on purely educational content.
You know, because that's how the internet works, man. We live in an attention society, not information, but more attention society.
So, Jeremy continues to produce high amounts of random, shocking content, and it's not surprising that this had a huge effect on his lifestyle. Jeremy began being obsessed with his image, particularly his physique, and developed an eating disorder where he would fast for days at a time.
36 hours I didn't eat yet. Let's do it.
Additionally, in order to keep up the views every month, he took on a vigorous work routine that was clearly pushing his mental and physical limits. An exhausted body and mind only proved to continue Jeremy's mental decline, and the cycle of positive affirmation from TikTok for his condition made it extremely difficult for Jeremy to escape. Some people claim that his media exposure had a very insignificant effect on his decline, and instead his behavior was caused by some sort of drug addiction. But that has been denied both by Jeremy and his brother Kamil. And so I think it's fair to say he was sober for the majority of the time, which kind of just puts more emphasis on how detrimental the effects of Jeremy's lifestyle was. His fans became genuinely worried for him, as his eating habits took a bad turn on his body. He began to look extremely frail, far from the muscular build he's normally seen with, and his sunken face showed just how exhausted he was. And unfortunately, despite his fans pleading for him to eat more, Jeremy only planned to get more and more lean. At this point, Jeremy's randomness and the clear lack of any purpose behind his content began making him seem more and more of just a meme, which ostracized him from his fanbase and from the fragrance community in general. Just look at how his fans laugh and mock Jeremy just seconds after getting a photo with him.
Can you tell me what perfume do you like on men?
Dior Sauvage ist richtig geil.
Okay, geil. Dior Sauvage wins the game again. Thank you.
Jeremy had separated himself from any loyal fans, from his family, and any potential lovers. So, how does this story end? Well, as of January 2023, Jeremy seems to be making slow but sure progress. He seems to be eating better, as his body is looking fuller and healthier. His YouTube channel is also growing at a steady pace, despite him pumping out much less content on average than he used to. I think it's also pretty clear why. Because now he's actually providing educational value in his videos, instead of just being mocked and laughed at like some kind of zoo animal, which he clearly didn't deserve. I think overall Jeremy has good intentions, but perhaps his exposure to fame at a young age, starting with part 6, kind of skewed the way he talks and treats people. I feel like this kind of got in the way of Jeremy forming and valuing close relationships, and so when he started to go downhill, he either didn't have or didn't care to listen to the people around him warning him about his path.